Hi, everybody. Welcome to, this is the breakout panel from the plenary session, the Youth, Green Jobs and the Future of Work. What we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple of minutes to allow the audience to flow in, to come and join us, to make sure that hopefully Regula will be with us very shortly. So don't go anywhere. We will get started in just a few minutes. You've joined the Youth, Green Jobs and the Future of Work breakout panel, and obviously some very familiar faces in the wonderful Ixol, our moderator, Howard. Thank you so much for joining us from Taiwan. Marwan as well from the Food and Agriculture Organization. We are really honored to have you, so thank you. A few moments. Obviously everybody's just coming over from the plenary stage. We've just finished the live broadcast. So where is everybody from? Let's get you familiar with some of the hop-in features. Get active in the chat. That's it there. I'm going to put a poll up as well. So let's ask everybody a quick question. How's your day going? Give me a second. So we'll have a 10 out of 10. We'll put coffee, please. Sustainable coffee, of course, given the conversation we're about to have. So we've got that poll there. So give yourself, to look at the polls tab, you'll see that. I think it was somewhere over here on that side. And you can now vote. Are you 10 out of 10? Coffee, please. That's me today. Oh, it could be Ben. But actually, I am going to go with 10 out of 10. Great, we've got some votes coming in. Thanks, everybody. Let us know where in the world you're joining from. If you've just got here, this is the Youth, Green Jobs and the Future of Work breakout panel, where Yael, Howard, Marwan, and hopefully Regula in a second will be with us to take the deep dive discussion on the short conversation they started in the plenary. And actually, you all had some really amazing insights. I'm really, really thankful for your time and being with us. I'm just trying to see if Regula's trying to get in. Give me a moment. She's not joining us, is she? Oh, of course she's not joining us because it's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank you. Regula isn't joining us. So you are all here. I think we've waited a few minutes. So what I'll do is I'm going to duck out, jump off video. I'm going to hand over to you. What I would encourage you to do, Ixol, is people can ask their own questions. So by all means, kick off with your own questions first, because kick off with your own conversation. And then the audience can ask questions in the chat. They can also use the Q&A function, so keep an eye on that. But also they can come on camera and ask their question if you would like them to as well. And what I would ask of the audience, if you do that, let us know where you are. Obviously say, hello, my name is Mike, I'm joining from Sri Lanka, and put your question to the panel or direct it to the person that you want it to go to. I'll stop talking now, I've done enough. Over to you, thank you so much, team.
Very much, Mike. Thank you, everyone. I'm reading here that we have people from all around the globe. I'm in Mexico City, but we have people from the Philippines, from France, from Canada, enjoying a rare, warm, sunny day in Canada. Yeah, enjoy that. And from Kenya, Taiwan, DRC, Malaysia, Nigeria, it's amazing, Ecuador, Jamaica. So this is amazing. So now we can talk further and explore a little bit more about what we were talking in the plenary session about the green economy and the green jobs. So maybe we didn't have time for Howard in the last question. Howard, do you want to share us a little bit more, and now with more time, about this these experiences, the skills people need for a green jobs journey? It's all yours, Howard.
Okay, thank you for giving me this time. Before I start, I have to say that compared to other panelists, I'm actually about the green economy. I'm maybe not as professional or as not familiar as you guys, but about this green economy, personally, I'm very interested in these green jobs. So for me as myself, I think before we are trying to involve in green job, I think we can first consider is like there are two ways for me that I think there's two ways that we can do our job green. So the first thing is like Miss Ragua, like she said, like finding a company or finding an organization that they are focusing on green concept or green issues very seriously, and you agree their ideas and you can join them. And that's one of the idea. And I think for the second idea is that you can try to turn your job green. Try to turn your job green, because I think green job is not born in green at first. So we can try to make our job, even at first it doesn't seem green, but we can try to find like, is there any way, or like, is there anything we can improve to make it green? Like for in my YMCA, because we are doing simply at first as simply volunteer and summer camp. And then we try to think that is there anything more we can do? And then we extend our program into like international volunteer, and we try to put more value into this program. So I think if you are already working, if you already have a job and you want to involve in this green job or green economy, you can try first that try to think that is there any part of your job that you can turn it green, like what kind of value, green value, you can add into your job to make the job green.
To your daily, not just your job, but everything you do, your job, your school, studies, in your house. Thank you very much, Howard. I totally agree with you. Here we have a question from Ayo Andrew. Do driving skills profession can link with green job economy?
Driving skills.
Driving skills. What do you mean with driving skills?
Car driving.
Let's see what he tells us. But I can say, as Howard just mentioned before, any job could be green, because it is not that you have to be an environmental specialist or marine science consultant to engage and to have a green job. Any job could be green if you're responsible, if you think about use resources with efficiency, if you're thinking on the whole approach of green economy. So yes, this is it. Any job and any skills could be linked to the green economy. There are ones that relate the more, like Marwan were saying in the panel. There are a lot of green job really on agriculture and stuff, but any job could be green. Do you want to say something about Marwan?
No, I completely agree with what you just said. And I mean, going back to the example of agriculture or the rural economy, there is downstream of the agri-food systems, there is a lot of jobs in transportation. So one idea could be to think about greening a transportation system to bring the different crops or products to the market or to the consumer. So that from the transportation segment, driving skills could also be helpful.
Yeah, I agree on that. Joshua Chipper is telling us that, please, I'm following, but I'm not getting what I'm looking for. Categorically, how do I explain to outside someone, not present the meaning of green economy? Because Marwan and Howard are giving different description. If you're looking for a concept, like a definition, we can say that, or I'm explaining. we have to say that green economy is compared to brown economy or business as usual economy. In one side, in the brown economy, you have an unlimited economic growth, no thinking on the limits, on natural limits. Brown economy, it's about non-renewable energy sources, an intensive consumption of natural resources and materials, as Regula mentioned before, energy, materials, fossil fuels. And if you think about green economy, we're thinking about renewable sources of energy, energy efficiency, clean production, biodiversity protection, environmental protection, intergenerational and interregional justice, not just growing and growing without sharing the benefits of it. So maybe if we green economy do not has to do only with agriculture, but with a very efficient use of natural resources, as energy, water, soil, anything. So if you're thinking on what a green economy is, it's this economy that takes into account the environment and the social benefits, and not just the economic gain or the economic growth per se, not just getting richer every day, but to share the benefits of the economy. You have to think about corporate social responsibility, increasing of social perception, trust within any enterprise. So if you think on agriculture, yes, it has to do with biodiversity protection, with organic fertilizers and stuff. Marwan can talk about this a little bit more. But if you're thinking on a bank or a services or a communications, telecom company, you also can think about the efficient use of energy and stuff. Culture and stuff. Maybe Marwan can come up and say a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Excel. No, I think you've covered it perfectly and answered perfectly. I mean, the concept of the green economy will somehow be similar whether we talk about agriculture or other sectors. And I mean, if we look at the definition of green jobs, they apply in the different sectors, whether they're existing or creating new ones. So I do agree with your response, and you will find green jobs in the different sectors. It's more about the process and transitioning to processes that are that help preserve the environment, that are low carbon, but that also using efficiently natural resources, preserving them, but also being economically and socially inclusive. Yeah. So I agree with you, and the same concepts. I mean, the same definition would apply in the different sectors.
It is. Thank you very much, Marwan. Howard, do you have some insights or thoughts about this?
Actually, I just look in the chat room, and I think I can totally agree with what Mr. A.O. Andrew said, because for me, the definition I check, I think green economy can combine with three definitions. The first thing is that it has to be connect with low carbon or have to reduce greenhouse gas as much as we can. And the second thing is that we have to use our energy more efficiency as much we can. And then the third one is that we have to we have to try to maintain our biodiversity as much as we can. This is some of the research I see on the internet about the definition about green economy. But I think for green economy, it's more like it's another industry. I think it's more just like what Mr. Andrew said. It's like a living style, a mindset. That how do you, what kind of the idea you, when you are doing this job and you are trying to make your life, your work, your community more green. So I think for me, that green economy cannot just only be a job. It can just be a lifestyle. There's I think for everyone, you are already familiar with the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. That there are 17 SDGs and set by the United Nations Development Program. And I think for these 17 goals, that they can be practiced or apply into your daily life. That actually there's a short video in YouTube on YouTube that I think I can suggest some of you, if you're interested, you can go look for it. That it is called the Good Life Goal. The Good Life Goal. That for most of the people, the SDG might seem a little bit far away, might seem a little bit difficult for us to execute. But this video, they show us that even random people like us, everyone can have a very deep impact when following these SDG. And they're in this video, they are trying to teach us how what we can do to practice these SDGs. So I think for green economy, it's more like a mindset that, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Howard. And yes, I'm reading in the chat that Tom says, always need to prioritize the green economy and think about how our boards and staff reduce carbon emissions, protect biodiversity, and mobilize others to advance climate action. Totally agree with you. And I will add that how to do this in a very responsible way, a social approach. I want to share with you, there's a link in the chat on a publication from the UN. This is talking about green economy in maybe a very academic way, but where does the green economy concept comes from? And this is from this publication called The Future We Want, and it came out within the Rio +20 conference from the UN. And what does this document say? First, it says, okay, we know and we recognize that there are different approaches, visions, models, tools available for each country, but all we have to do is be with a context, a global context, and agree in certain points. For example, in all countries, we have to see green economy, but this has to be consistent with international law. For example, as you were saying, yeah, we need to be consistent with climate action, with decarbonization of the economy. So yes, we have to think on the green economy, but to be consistent with other approaches and with international law. And we have to respect each country's national sovereignty over their natural resources, taking into account its national circumstances, objectives, responsibility, priorities, and policy space with regard to the 3 dimensions of sustainable development that are environmental protection, economic growth, and social responsibility. So this is what we were talking before. It's not just about the economy, but the environment and the social benefits we can share with green growth, because this is the main differences between green economy and brown or business as usual economy. The equitable distribution of benefits from economy. In this case, we're looking for a green economy that is efficient, that it takes into account biodiversity and stuff. No? So that's it. Ayo says, I think SDG 11 can intersect with SDG 13. I'm just option. All the SDGs interact and linked with the other 16. You cannot think about growing economy growth or decent jobs without thinking about education. How could you have a grown economy or a decent job if you do not have skills professionals or people? So you need to have education. There's a lot of linkages. Maybe Marwan can talk about the linkages between SDGs, not just 13, but 14 and 15 with 8 and 11. What do you say, Marwan?
Yeah, no, absolutely true. If you look at them, just having a look at the targets of SDG 11, I think it's target 11.6 that states by 2030 reduce the adverse per capita environmental impact of cities. So the link with the SDG 13 on climate change is clear. And as mentioned during the plenary, there are a lot of interlinkages between the different SDGs. So we talked about green jobs and how green jobs can help reach the achieve the SDG 8 on this decent work and economic growth. And all this is also linked to the other SDGs, reducing poverty, food security, increased food security, and all those are linked as well to SDG 8, for instance. So there are a lot of linkages between the different SDGs. Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Marwan. I'm reading here a question. Joyce says, does the COVID-19 pandemic have any implications to the green economy? Oh my God, yes, a lot. Now we're using face masks, but in a lot of places you're using disposable face masks. We are using a lot of single-use plastics in the medical sector. Now that we're isolated, for example, in my case, we're ordering a lot of the supermarket, and we're ordering food, and sometimes it comes in foam or in plastics, bags and stuff. So yes, there's a lot over packaging. Yeah, it's insane.
Yes, over packaging.
Yeah, and I don't know what else. Maybe yes, disposable masks, gloves, and a lot of things. I know Howard. What do you say?
Because in Taiwan, we just recently having a very serious breakout, and all of the restaurants, they have restricted, like we have to take out food and we have to work from home. So just like what Miss Jones just said, like there's a lot of resource and waste happens in like over packaging, like the plastic bag, all the things that the disposable like chopsticks and everything is have much more. So way more garbage than we used to have. And also the medical resource is also at very high risk in Taiwan. So we are right now in a very serious situation. So also I'm hoping everyone, you can pray for Taiwan that we can control this situation as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hope you do, and all the world. Now we have here, how do we mainstream green economy and maximize its benefits to the least, the last, and the lost? Thanks. I guess mainstreaming green economy, it has to be on taking into account every single issue to maximize the efficiency and the use of natural resources and the responsibility. We were talking, I was saying to you, it has to be a corporate social responsibility of businesses, no matter what type of business you're talking about. Someone says before about the YMCA and its boards. Yes, the YMCA and the UN and banks and any type of enterprise and business has to be responsible, and we have to do our part as well. I really think that Howard said before, maybe our job doesn't look green at first, but we can change that. We have the power and we may give some ideas and changes to green the economy. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself and if that makes sense, but we have the power to do so. I know, Marwan, Howard, do you want to say something else about?
Yes. I think because we are now talking more about the SDG, and I think everyone knows that the SDG goal is set in 2015, and we have 15 years to try to finish these 17 goals as much as we can. And by now, so far, I don't know what we have done so far, but I think for these 11 goals, each goal is equally important. But for me as a person, I think the most important is the 17, the global partnership, because I think for green economy, it cannot be conducted in only one sector or one country. It has to be working globally. And I think can talk about some of the people in the chat room. They want Mr. Marwan to talk about the skills that will be required for the green jobs. So yeah, I'll give my time to Mr. Marwan.
Yes, Marwan, can you talk us about the skills required for green jobs?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Howard. Did you want to continue your point before I go ahead? No? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So, I mean, that's actually a very timely point, the skills. I mean, following the question on mainstreaming green jobs, because one of the mainstreaming the green economy, one of the important aspects is really to ensure that the innovative green technologies or green jobs can be undertaken, right, or adopted by workers and the youth. So it's important to make sure that the youth have the adequate skills to undertake such jobs and implement those technologies on the long term. I'll focus mostly on the skills that we for green jobs in rural areas, mostly. That's mostly what we work. And I'd like to stress out two types of skills. So there's first what we would call the hard skills or technical skills that are really specific to a job, right? So if you go into agroecological production or organic farming or any other example, biopesticides production, they're very specific technical skills for those jobs, right? That you learn per se when you want to do this job. But then there's also soft skills that are transferable from a job to the other, right? For many types of green jobs. And those could include communication, right? Interpersonal communication, leadership, and also gender leadership. That's particularly important as well. Let's think about it. So there would be teamwork, because that is also important. Problem solving. But also more technical soft skills on climate change, sustainable value chains in agriculture, green businesses and entrepreneurship development, financial literacy. So all those skills will actually help undertake green jobs in a more sustainable fashion, if I may say so. And then there are also, as mentioned earlier, the very specific jobs to a specific sector.
Thank you very much, Marwan. were talking before about there are a lot of skills that people need in order to get a job, soft skills, hard skills. But thinking on green jobs, maybe you're not going to be a smart one. It has a PhD on agricultural economy or something, but you may want to, even if you're computer engineer, that thing that may not have anything to do with green jobs, maybe you want to get to know about the SDGs and how using a different browser could help you to be more responsible. Yesterday, I was looking that there's a browser called Ecosia that plants a tree every time you search something in the web. So you may want to use this browser instead of Google, if I may say something. That's an example. And other skills, as Marwan says, communication, leadership, but also you may want to take notes on the SDGs, get to know about eco-labeling or environmental management systems and others. I mean, you have to focus on your profession, on your area of expertise, and then see what else you can do to improve your skills in order to bring your job. Howard was saying something. You can share maybe, Howard, some experiences you had on this.
I think for how to improve the skill, because for green job, soft skill is much more important than hard skill, because hard skill depends on what kind of job you have, but soft skill can be applied into every job. So like Mr. Marvin said, the leadership, the communication skill, all of these skills are equally important and very critical to all kinds of job. I think to improve, one of the ways is to observe, because I think for most of the people, we believe the media and the things that government told us very easily, that we somehow starting to lose the ability to like independent judgment or something. I don't know if I'm expressing myself right, but I think for more and more young people, they tend to believe what like YouTubers said, what news broadcaster said, but they never really try to find out if they are telling the truth or not. Like some of the like there's a documentary movie is very famous. I don't know if some of you might have seen it. It's called the Seaspiracy. It's on Netflix. It's talking about the fishing industry and some of the lies and truths in it. Because one of the iconic things in the movie that impressed me a lot is that fishing is because fishing sometimes we might harm some other animals like dolphin or like sea turtle or something. Some of the organization, they will have like a label for these manufacturer, like the environmental friendly label or something on their products. But actually they found out that the label is actually have done nothing helpful for the environment. It is just some kind of a scheme or like some kind of a skill that was set by the financial group or something for the people to believe. So I think for green job is that we need to find out what is the most important things that we can work on. So we need to have like a very independent thinking and also observation to find out if if this organization or this company is doing the right things. Because I think more and more people are losing this ability, especially young people, because the media is so convenient and the information is all everywhere. So I think how to improve this is a very big step. So I think if we can improve our independent thinking and observation, that will be a lot helpful for our no matter it's in our life or like green economy or something, we have to be critical all the time, always judging about what is right and find out what is the most important things for us. Yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I couldn't agree more with this that you're saying. We have to be more critical. We have to think on ourselves and research more and do not believe everything. A couple of weeks ago, I was asked to say and give a speech about greenwashing. And so I was doing my investigation and research, and I found out a lot of things that are actually greenwashing, but they're working because people do not take the time to investigate more or to go further. They just believe wherever the industry is saying. Now we have a couple of questions here. Tom says, what could the Y do better globally to help prepare youth to think about and prepare for green jobs? Are there any curricula or strategies that you recommend? Yes, definitely. We may have workshops on how to identify these skills, soft and hard skills for green jobs. Maybe gather people from different sectors to share their experiences, because, for example, you may have people studying environmental science. They will have a lot of knowledge and can share with people studying medicine or studying robotics or genetic science. A way to explore and expand our vision. And yes, maybe have very quick workshops about the SDGs and their linkages, environmental responsible practices for different sectors, how to be energy efficient within different organizations, how to improve corporate and social responsible practices. I mean, there could be a lot to do within the YMCA and people there. And I don't know, Marwan, Howard, if you want to say something about this, what could the Y do better globally to prepare youth to think on green jobs? No, we may go with the next question. In some places around the world, there isn't much knowledge or interest for the green economy. What would be the best way to raise awareness for this topic, especially if we are talking for teens and youth? I might say, in my own experience, that a good way to engage people is talking about all the benefits on green economy within the enterprises and organizations. Let's say, if you're saying that you must use the energy in a more efficient way, you will have savings because you pay for energy. So if you use less energy, if you use energy in a more efficient way, you're going to save money. If you do not waste, regular, we're saying, we used to see waste as waste. If now we see waste as a valuable resource, you can have earnings from recycling, and you can have savings from using recycled materials. So sometimes, I'm not saying this is a rule, but sometimes seeing this savings approach and these economical benefits for the green economy could be the trigger to pull for something else. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, that if this makes sense to you. What else would you say, Marwan?
Thank you, Excel. No, absolutely, I agree with you. And I was going to make the same point about showing the benefits, including on the long term, because sometimes it can take a bit of time to build in some long-term benefits in terms of profit, income. So it can take a bit of time. So I agree that it's important to communicate on that and show those benefits. I mean, also one interesting aspect is the use of role models. I think that was mentioned also before, right? If you have someone who's working already on green jobs or already has a green job in a specific community, they can also share the experience with others in case they would be interested too in greening their business, greening their products, greening their processes. That I think that could also be a nice way to increase the awareness. Another thing is, and it was mentioned, I think again, it was the curriculum. So that not only that helps preparing the youth to undertake the technologies afterwards, or to be ready to undertake such jobs, but it also already raised some awareness and can create some stimulation as well. So I think those would be important steps as well to increase such an awareness.
Definitely, thank you for that. Morgan, Howard, do you want to say something about this? Raise awareness.
Awareness, I think the only way is through education. And because our YMCA has been developing youth program a very, very long time. So I can understand the difficulty, because for these young people, they have so much choice than we used to have. So they will have like a very curiosity about this world. So when we are trying to designing this youth program, and we are trying, and the target is trying to make them interested in the green economy. For example, like taking our volunteerism, for example, we will like because we will go at other countries in the world. Like we will go to a different place, different community or different countries, and in this country we will set some important local issues, like in Philippines, because in Philippines, we went to some of the area. They have the village that the people in the village, they collect garbage for living. It's called the garbage village, and there's a lot of garbage village in Philippines. And we will take these young people in person, going into this village and show them and it's more like an education. We tell them about what's going on and how should we do to really help these people, and what can we do when we go back to Taiwan, how can we pass this knowledge and we can practice this knowledge in their daily life. So when we are designing this youth program, this program can have like a very shocking education and experience for these young people. So this is I think this is a very successful experience, because some of the students, when they going back to Taiwan, they trying to founding a club, recycling club, and they trying to let more and more people are knowing that there are a lot of situations happening around this world, and some of the situation that we can actually we can actually try to help them to change. So by raising the interest, I think the only way is through education, and that is another topic, because developing a youth program is a very deep topics, because we have to talk about what kind of youth and what kind of program we're talking about, and how should we do to make them engage in this topic. So I think the only way we can do is yeah, through education, from college, from yes, from education. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely, field experiences always help to raise awareness. If you do not see, you do not feel what's going on out there, you may not take care. But if you do see what's going on, you may want to change some things. And yes, education is our greatest tool. Um, I think we are almost running out of time. I don't know if people in the audience have another question, so we can wrap up. I want to read this that Mary Chris is sharing. I have a 7-year-old nephew, and just by bringing the idea to him that by recycling, using less plastic, or using a bicycle, we can protect our earth and have a better world for everybody, he has become a very aware kid on this. Definitely. I mean, if we start education and awareness with kids, it becomes natural for them, and they will grow up thinking different than us and than other people. But thank you very much. Thank you for your comments here, your participation. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you, everyone. So if there's no more questions or thoughts, I give here to Mary Chris. Hi, Mary Chris.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. I hope you can hear me well. Is that okay? Yeah, great.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Great. Sorry, I could not be in the beginning. I had some technical issues gone, but yeah, I've been listening basically from where you started, and the conversation has been really good. I think the questions from the audience have also been really good, and something that I wanted to make maybe as a summary and as a closing is that we as the YMCA have the responsibility to share this message on our young people, because climate justice and climate issues are going to affect us and are affecting us already. So it's our duty, our call to make sure that all our YMCAs around the world can start working on this. Of course, maybe from one day to another, we are not going to be carbon neutral or anything like that, but we need to start setting goals so that little by little we go and grow this conscious about how important the environment is and what we can do to make our contribution to it. For example, if as we were saying on the chat, and as also you were asking and making the comments, it starts with the very little things. Of course, we have discussed here about green jobs and green economy because the summit topic is about work, but it starts with the very little actions that you can do on a daily life, on a daily basis, and what you can offer and try to change also in the people around you. So I was saying the story of my nephew because that's something very personal to me. Like I taught him about that, and now he's very aware. And right now he's not going to the supermarket, but when we used to go before the pandemic, he was always asking me, like, why is people taking so many plastic bags and all of that if that's not good? Because we always used to go with our own bags. And I was trying to explain that, of course, it's a process that it takes time for people to realize that this is actually a crisis and we need to start taking the actions person by person, organization by organization. So this is our goal. This is what we need to do, and we need to start working together to have a global message. As Tom was asking, maybe there is no one specific curricula to work, but SDGs are always a very good starting point, I think, at this on this level, that we can share all the SDGs, of course, interact with each other, and this is a very good platform where we can get content in what ways to work, because we know YMCAs around the world are completely different and they work in different ways in different programs. So one SDG can be more relatable to the other one, to another YMCA, but the common goal is that we become a greener movement in the way that we can. If it is not using plastic, if it is avoiding traveling, if it is I don't know, encouraging our staff to come to work using a bicycle, whatever we can do to help on this green protection of this goal. I think it's our contribution, and we have that duty to make it. So I just wanted to say that I think the conversation has been really great. I want to thank very much Marwan, Howard, and Ixel for being here today and sharing with us in this panel. I think it has been really interesting. And I also want to thank all the people that has joined us during this hour. Don't forget that all of the content from the summit will be available on YouTube in the next 7 or 10 days. So you will be able to watch it from the World YMCA YouTube channel. So if you missed a little bit or you want to recheck the content, it will be available. Don't forget that. We will have, after this session, we still have 3 more breakout sessions that you can join. I'm gonna let you know what it is. We have one, which is paving your way through Earn and Learn programs with YMCA of San Francisco. This is a workshop. Then we have young people working towards climate-friendly, energy-efficient solutions and livelihoods. This is also a workshop, so if you are interested a little bit more about this topic and you want to know how you can make it locally, this is a great workshop for you to join. And then we have an HP Learning Initiative for Entrepreneurs, revolutionary, free to access a skill-based learning platform. So these are the option that you have in the next hour. You just have to go into the breakout sessions and choose the one that you want to attend. And once again, I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Ixel. Thank you, Marwan. Thank you, Howard. It has been a great hour of conversation. And I hope you all have a good rest of the day, morning, evening, wherever you are. Howard, I know it's very late for you, so thank you very much. And just, yeah, you're definitely going to bed now. Thank you, everybody else who was in the room, and we will see you later or tomorrow for our last day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much, Chris. It was a pleasure, Howard, Marwan. Thank you very much. Thank you for the people.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep in touch. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.